I'm just gonna get right into it here. If you're here today, you're probably shooting for a concert or you would like to, and you're wondering what the best gear is to bring to the show. Maybe you've heard it's very difficult to shoot at these shows because there's low light, or maybe you've heard it's very difficult to shoot at these shows because of the unexpected action that could take place on stage. I'm here to tell you that it's a lot easier than you think, and the gear is a lot more simple than you think. So for this video, I'm gonna go over the gear that I use for concert photography, and I'm gonna help you choose gear that you could start out with based on these 3 rules I think are essential for a beginner concert photographer. These 3 rules are versatility, user-friendliness, and value for money. All right, so let me walk you through exactly what I bring to every show. First, my camera. Now, I am shooting this video on my camera that I use, so I can't really show you it, but it is the Sony a7 IV. Now, the reason that this camera is my go-to is because of its low light performance. And this isn't just the Sony a7 IV model that has this. Every Sony camera has pretty good low light performance. And when it comes to concerts, you're almost always in a dark venue with dramatic stage lighting that's always changing. I think the a7 IV handles the ISO perfectly. Even when it's very dark, I think the shots stay very clean. Now, obviously the Sony a7 IV is not a beginner camera, but there are a lot of very good contenders that work just as good as the Sony a7 IV. I'll be recommending these at this timestamp. Now, believe it or not, that is the only camera that I bring to shows. Maybe you see a lot of these people having multiple cameras. I think it's just doing way too much. As long as you have a versatile camera that can cover photos or videos and you know how to use shortcuts on your camera, then I think that one camera is all you need. Now, when it comes to lenses, the first thing I think about is also versatility. My main lens is the Sigma 2470. I'm also recording with it right now. This focal length covers almost everything I need. I can get wide shots of the stage. I can also get close-ups of the artist. These are some of the shots that I've gotten with this lens. And as you can see, this is a very versatile lens. When you're in a photo pit at a live show, it's a lot harder than you think to switch lenses. But if the artist is farther on the stage or their stage design is set up in a way that's harder to shoot, it could be nice to carry a telephoto lens. These lenses are obviously very expensive, so this is not a need. I don't even have a crazy telephoto lens. So just in case, I do carry a Sony 85mm lens with the aperture of 1.8. Now, like I said, I do this just in case an artist is farther away and I really want to capture their face, but really a telephoto lens is not too important. Obviously, if I had all the money in the world, I'd get a 70 to 200mm lens, but these can cost you around $2,000 to even higher from some places. Now, I really wouldn't recommend having a telephoto lens like this for most shows, because since this is a prime lens, the focal length is set at 85, which can be very difficult when there's an artist that has a lot of energy on stage. Now, I would do your research before you go to the show and see how the artist performs, what their stage design looks like. And if you genuinely think that you'll need a telephoto lens to get better photos, then you can grab one. I got this lens from Best Buy. I think I bought a good used version and it came out really well. I wouldn't buy anything under good. They have like different tiers, excellent, good, and poor. Never buy a poor lens. That's just wasting money at that point. Stick between excellent and good. This one was good and nothing's wrong with it. So I think I got around like $300 off, so it was really nice. Now, those are the only lenses I bring to a show. Anything more than that, I just think is doing too much. Obviously, like I said, I would bring a 70 to 200mm lens if I could, but those are way out of my price range. And lastly, what I bring to shows is this flash. Now, there are a lot of flashes that people charge a lot for. This one wasn't too bad. It's the Sony HVL F28RM, and I think it does this job really well. Most shows aren't gonna let you bring this into the photo pit, but in the rare occasions where you can meet the artist or you see them in the lobby or you go backstage, you can get some pretty cool headshots. I'll put a few that I've gotten here. And at some shows, usually at smaller venues, they do allow flashes. So I have used my flash during shows in that case as well. Now, to choose your photography kit, I'm gonna go through these 3 rules to help you decide what to do. Rule number 1, versatility. Now, like I said earlier, concert photography is super unpredictable. There's been some shows where literally for the entire set, every color light in existence was just flashing. And at times, since I couldn't even see the artist with my own eyes, I didn't think the photos would come out good. So you're often working in spaces where you can't really predict how these photos will come out. That's why I think having a camera that works well in low light, and in my case, the Sony brand is a great option. Also with versatility, that's why the 2470 suits me very well, because it's just one lens and it captures a whole wide focal length. With this lens, I'm suited for every scenario the concert throws at me. Like I said, if you have the budget for it, add a telephoto lens if you can, but it's really not needed. Don't overcomplicate it. Rule number 2. User friendliness. You don't need a complicated setup to shoot concerts. I see some people coming in the photo pit and they have 2 cameras strapped. They get paid for doing that. They need those good photos. If you're just there because you want to add photos to your portfolio, there's no need to have 2 cameras. It's just way too much. And honestly, it would stress me out because of how many people can easily just grab your stuff. A camera like the Sony a7 IV, the one that I have, is very intuitive. Once you make your shortcuts on the camera, you have your shutter speed, ISO, aperture ready, you're good. Then you can just focus on shooting. Now, I do want to mention having a camera that has these shortcut options are very helpful in concerts. And the same goes with the lens, the 24-70, and the flash that I use. They're both very simple to operate. As long as you have good composition and a nice eye for frames, then that's all you need. Now, rule 3, value for the money. Now you're watching this because you need camera gear. Whether you already have camera gear and you're watching this because you want concert photography gear, or maybe you're watching this because you just need camera gear for low light settings. In any case, you need to look at your gear like it's an investment. Make sure you get the use out of your equipment. Don't buy this stuff on impulse. If you're not gonna shoot these shows, don't buy it. But if you know you are, and if you know you can build your career into this and get that money back long-term, then this is for you. When I first started shooting, I didn't have the best camera or the best lens, and I still don't. But I started at a lower position, and as I started getting more comfortable with the space, that's when I decided to upgrade. Think about the long game when you're building your kit. The a7 IV is a camera that I can use for a decade. So is the 24-70. This lens is super versatile, so I can use this forever. That's how I look at my gear, because I want to be able to use it for a long time and really get my money's worth. Aside from concert photography, it could also be good to pick up a few gigs if you can, build your portfolio from concert photography, and reach out to people in that space who might want their photos done. Another thing I do is make concert recaps, as my camera is a hybrid, so it can shoot videos as well. And these just help my portfolio look even better than they would if I didn't have them. Now, keeping all 3 of these rules in mind, I'm gonna help you make a beginner kit. Now for cameras, I'm gonna go with the Sony camera because I think they do best in low light. Honestly, anything from the a6000 series is really good. I started on the a6000, but cameras like the a6700 actually have the dial where you can make shortcuts on your camera, which I think is very helpful. The reason why these shortcuts are very helpful are for shots like this, because obviously you aren't shooting these type of blurred shots for the entire show. But if you have a shortcut that you can click on and off and set that shortcut to any style you like, for me, I really like this blurred effect, but you may like something completely different. But if you have that shortcut, it saves you so much time rather than changing the exposure every time you want to do a shot like that. For me, with the flick of a switch, I'm able to shoot those photos. And when you're looking at cameras, they aren't cheap. The Sony a6700 comes out at around $1,600. This is obviously a lot of money, but if you're thinking of taking this into long term, I think it could be greatly beneficial for you. This is a great starter camera. If you're looking more for videography when it comes to concerts, I think the Sony ZV-E10 is a great choice. The Sony a6000 is the one that I started on, but this camera does not have that shortcut dial. Besides that though, it's really a great starter camera. I used to use it with the kit lens and it worked well for me. It does great in low light and it's very inexpensive, sitting at around $600. Now, I think the lens is arguably more important than the camera. For best image quality and long-term value, investing in a lens could be greatly and highly more beneficial than getting a camera, especially as a beginner, because you're gonna wanna upgrade your camera in a few years, but a lens, that's something that you don't really upgrade as much. With that being said, some budget lenses I recommend are the Tamron 1770mm. This gives you a wide focal length and has an f-stop of 2.8, which is really good for a lens of this price. It comes out at around $600 new, but like I said, I got my lens in a good condition and it was still really good. So if you're up for the risk, you can do that too. But $600 for a lens like this is a steal. When I started, I used a kit lens and it was messy at times, but it did get my photos out good. So if all you can get is a kit lens, that is still perfect. In fact, it's better to learn that way because you're working in conditions that are harder. But once you start doing more concert photography, you'll be able to upgrade to a new lens because you feel your skill is good enough to justify that price. The point is, a solid body and a fast lens is all you really need. There really is no barrier to entry when it comes to concert photography, and it's honestly really easy to get into. And I'll definitely make a video in the future on how I get into concerts and how I started and how you can start in 2026. So that's my concert photography kit, following the 3 rules that I think are best to shot for your camera: versatility, user friendliness, and value for money. Now keep these 3 rules in mind when you're shopping for gear, but don't be hard on yourself. You do not need a great camera and a great lens. You can just start with a Sony a6000 and a kit lens and you will get good photos. Maybe in the beginning, they're not gonna be super great, but if you keep practicing and you keep showing up, That's how you get better. You don't get better from your gear, you get better from being there. Now, if you found this helpful today, it'd be greatly appreciated if you like and subscribed. I'll have a video out for you next week, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.